Now, what's going on with China? I mean, that would be the big kahuna.
I think
why don't they just go buy $500 billion worth of Bitcoin? Too much accountability, right? Math.
If China went and bought $500 billion worth of Bitcoin, that would be about 50% of the circulating supply right now. So I don't think they could actually execute it, but let's just say that was their intention, whether they said it or not. I think the price of Bitcoin would go to $500,000, right? Because if you had basically a whale come in and try to buy half the supply, right? If you go back, Bitcoin went from $10,000 in October of 2020 to by March or April, it had peaked at like $64,000, $65,000, right? So basically 600% increase in a matter of 6 months or less. And what really was driving that was institutions started to come into the market and they basically were saying, I want Bitcoin. So I'm willing to pay $10,000. And a bunch of Bitcoiners, about 70% of the people who held it, said, I'm not selling it to you at $10,000. So, okay, well, I'll pay 10,000. Oh, nope, now 11, 12, 15, 20, 25, 30, and it kept going up. And every time that they would increase their bid, it would unlock a little bit of liquidity from people who were the long-term holders. But we didn't get massive unlock until we got up over $50,000. And so that was only probably, if I had to guess, probably single-digit billions went into the asset, right? Like at that time. And
how much leverage is in this space?
I think that the leverage in the crypto market in general is still like relatively high. There's been some flushes that have been pretty healthy. Right now, specifically, I think that it's still on the higher end. What I think people don't appreciate, though, is there's a big difference between almost what I'll call new leverage versus old leverage. I mean, that's a good way to think about it. The new leverage is like if you can go on a derivatives platform and put 50x leverage, 100x leverage, that's very different than going on a kind of a traditional derivatives exchange, right? And being able to put, kind of light leverage or 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5 times leverage. And so what I think ended up happening at a number of times in Bitcoin and crypto's life cycle is that fairly inexperienced people saw leverage. And as like most things, they said, this looks amazing, I can get rich quick. So they started to use these kind of exotic high leverage products, but they're not experts at it. And so the experts, they're using kind of much less leverage and they're going ahead and doing it. But we've seen time and time again, how do you get a 50% flush in prices in a single day? It's leverage getting wiped out. It's just liquidations just right down through an order book. And so I think that that's been a problem. It does seem to be improving a little bit. Some of the platforms have taken away, 100x leverage type stuff. And they're like, okay, maybe we should only have 20, right? Which is still kind of crazy, but like at least
1.5 times leverage is a problem.
Yeah. but like you can see, right?
Anything greater than 1.
Yeah, you can just see how this is becoming a bigger kind of focus of the industry. The other thing that I'll say is a lot of people forget that the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, which now is trading at a 25% discount to NAV,
which is unbelievable.
Pretty significant. Yeah. They were probably one of the biggest drivers of the price increase from Bitcoin from 10K to 60 initially, because what was happening was a lot of these Wall Street guys were coming in with big dollars. They were giving money to Grayscale in the private placement. Grayscale was then taking that money and going and buying in the market. When they would buy in the market, though, they were buying up to 150% of all the Bitcoin being produced in a single day, according to the mining reward. So you have a buyer in the market that's buying more than what's being mined.
Yeah, it's kind of like a share buyback almost, right? Where
it just explodes.
It artificially increases the prices.
Yes. And then there's no redemption function. So people couldn't get their money out of the fund. The only way to get your, kind of your money back would be to sell the shares to somebody else. And so it was kind of this perfect storm for this massive increase in Bitcoin price. The big question ends up being, what happens now, right? Like where does the interest
MSTRs trade? Where do they trade at?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like where will they trade at in the coming years? Like MSTR, it's all correlated to Bitcoin, right?
Bitcoin's definitely a big piece of it.
Now, what percent are they trading at over NAV of their Bitcoin? So, assuming their base business is worthless.
So right now, let's see, in pretty much 2017, 2018, all the way up till 2020, MicroStrategy was trading anywhere between like $100 to like $210, right? It was kind of like the range that it went over a number of years, four years or so. Obviously, towards the Q4 of 2020, when he first made the first purchase in August, he went from August, he was trading about $125, all the way up by February of 2021, it was over $1,000. So just massive increase in price. Now it's kind of come down and it's trading essentially
Yeah, it's at
sideways.
like 400 or something. But do you know what it is in terms
475.
of net asset value or no?
So the market cap is 490.
Like if GPTC trades at 25% discount, what does MSTR trade at?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell
And
you
again, I'm not trying to
right
quiz
now.
you here. I'm
So I got the internet. You can quiz me all you want. So they own 124,391 Bitcoin, and at today's price, that is the cost basis for them is about 3.75 billion according to Bitcoin Treasury. So maybe slightly off, but let's say this number is correct. $3.75 billion dollars. Today's value is 5.2 billion, which is a 1.4x.
And their market cap's 4.9.
So it's actually trading below just the Bitcoin on their on the
What were the
balance
numbers again? 4.9 and
Versus 5.1 or 5.2.
5.2
That's
billion
great.
in Bitcoin, right? So like actually pretty healthy in the sense of
it is because when it was getting up to like 6, 7, 800, 900, I traded that thing in a couple days. You want to know something effing crazy? So yeah, it was nuts. I don't know. I had this stupid idea to put in like, I don't know, like $5 million into MSTR. Okay. I probably shouldn't be telling the story, but
you're telling it now.
but I put like $5 million into MSTR, and I forget when it was, a year or two ago or something like that. And I shit you not. So I must have executed the trade at like 3:30 in the afternoon.
Okay.
I woke up the next morning and the fucking thing was up like 25% or something.
You sell it all?
I sold the whole fucking thing. I said, holy crap. I said, I've never made $1 million that quick in my life. You know what I mean? I mean, even if you look at it in terms of like, okay, I went to sleep and then I woke up. I mean, I do because like, you know, with my general stocks, I can make that much money overnight. But, you know, to do that on some trade, highly speculative. And I was like, okay, like this is just stupid.
This is crazy.
Get me out of this damn thing.